set.
This is Michael Falkner, and it's showtime at the June 5th, 2012 edition of the Weekly Podioplex, brought to you by the Chronic Rift. Before we get started, June 7th is the one-year anniversary of the show. Thank you to all of you who download and listen each and every week. I also want to extend a big thanks to John Drew for giving me the opportunity to contribute to the Chronic Rift. Here's to a prosperous second year. Starting things out with the box office report, this weekend's rundown kicks off with number 10 and new release For Greater Glory, debuting with $1.9 million in 757 theaters. At number 9 is Chernobyl Diaries, down 4 from 5th. At number 8 is Dark Shadows, dropping 2 from 6th. In 7th is What to Expect When You're Expecting, holding steady from last week. In 6th place is The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, jumping back up 2 spots from 8th. At 5th we have The Dictator, down 1 from 4th with $4.7 million and a new total of $50.8 million. In 4th is Battleship, dropping 1 spot with $5.1 million and a new total of $55.4 million. In 3rd place is last week's runner-up, The Avengers, bringing in $20.5 million to bring the blockbuster to a $552.9 million total overall. The movie passed The Dark Knight's $533.3 million to place The Avengers at 3rd place all-time on the domestic charts. It's also the new record holder for the fastest film to $550 million, reaching that point in 31 days. Avatar did in 38. In 2nd is last week's winner, Men in Black 3, bringing in $28.1 million for a new total of $111.1 million. But taking a big bite out of the box office apple this week is new release Snow White and the Huntsman, debuting at $56.2 million. That's the 4th highest debut this year behind The Avengers, The Hunger Games, and The Lorax, and was more than Battleship has made in 17 days in release. However, it didn't come close to Alice in Wonderland's $116.1 million, but it did edge out The Chronicles of Narnia Prince Caspian's $55 million. The success here is being attributed to clever marketing, which emphasized the impressive visuals while handing it a darker take on a classic tale. That said, I saw it this weekend, and I wasn't really impressed with the writing or the acting. Let's close out the box office report with a look at what was winning in the years gone by. 5 years ago, in 2007, Ocean's 13 took the bank and the top spot with $36.1 million. 10 years ago, in 2002, Jack Ryan kept the top spot with The Sum of All Fears for a second week with $19.2 million. 20 years ago, Jack Ryan struck number 1 as well with Patriot Games and $18.5 million. 30 years ago, in 1982, E.T. the Extraterrestrial claimed our hearts and number 1 with $11.8 million. And 40 years ago, in 1972, The Godfather kept the top spot for the 4th week after 12 weeks in release with $2.6 million. The box office premieres for the week of June 8th want to exterminate the spell that Snow White has over moviegoers, and they're going to start off with Prometheus, a science fiction film starring Noomi Rapace, Logan Marshall Green, and Michael Fassbender.
A king has his reign. And then he dies. It's inevitable.
Has landed. These are ancient civilizations that were separated by centuries, and yet this same pictogram was discovered in every one of them.
They're smiling.
I think they want us to come and find them.
We're all here because of a map you 2 kids found in a cave.
Not a map. An invitation.
From whom?
Please tell me you can read that.
Prometheus, are you seeing this?
Whatever that probe is picking up, it's reading life form.
What do you mean a life form?
Oh, the head. They're changing.
Changing into what?
It's moving? These things moving?
What is that?
There's a ship.
They're leaving.
To go where?
Earth.
We were so wrong. Take us home!
If you don't stop it, there won't be any home to go back to.
Where's that door open? Got it up! Got it up!
Big things
of small beginnings.
In the Alien prequel that may or may not be an Alien prequel, a team of explorers discover a clue to the origins of mankind on Earth, leading them to a journey to the darkest corners of the universe. There they must fight a terrifying battle to save the future of the human race. Prometheus is rated R. The other wide release this week is Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted, an animated comedy film starring Ben Stiller, Jada Pinkett Smith, and Chris Rock.
Every year, millions of animals migrate home, but some are better at it than others.
This isn't New York.
I said, wait, this isn't New York.
Well, how do we move through Europe without attracting attention?
What?
Attention! We have detected wild animals on the loose!
Get me Capitaine Dubois from Animal Control!
Poor animals. Now you deal with me.
Mr. Buzz! What are we gonna do? We can't just land. You know this ain't Africa.
You gotta let us in! Go!
Thanks. We're gonna get off the next stop so we can get back to America.
We're going to America as well!
What? Will we go with you?
Whoa!
This train is for circus animals only.
But we are circus.
What is your act?
Circus, Afro, circus, Afro, polka dot, Afro.
Really?
This summer,
In order to get home, we will come up with something that'll blow everyone away! Whoa! I'm on a tightrope!
no, they'll do whatever it takes to get back home.
Fire in the hole!
Well, that was worth the price of admission.
You can run.
But you cannot save your hide.
What are you doing? Zebras can't drive! Only penguins and people can drive!
Oh, yay!
DreamWorks Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted, in 3D.
Hey, this is not first class.
Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. I'm sexy and I know it.
Has anyone ever told you that you look like a supermodel? Whoa! What a woman!
I work out.
Alex, Marty, Gloria, and Melman are still fighting to get home to their beloved Big Apple. Their journey takes them through Europe, where they find the perfect cover, a traveling circus, which they reinvent, Madagascar style. Madagascar 3, Europe's Most Wanted, is rated PG. It's a big week for limited releases. The first is Lola Versus, a comedy starring Greta Gerwig, Zoe Lister-Jones, and Hamish Linklater. Dumped by her boyfriend just 3 weeks before their wedding, Lola enlists her close friends for a series of adventures she hopes will help her come to terms with approaching 30 as a single woman. Lola Versus is rated R. The next title this week is Safety Not Guaranteed, a comedy starring Aubrey Plaza, Jake M. Johnson, and Karen Sony. 3 magazine employees head out for an assignment to interview a guy who placed a classified ad seeking a companion for time travel. Safety Not Guaranteed is rated R. The third title this week is Belle Amie, a drama starring Robert Pattinson, Uma Thurman, and Kristen Scott Thomas. Belle Amie is a chronicle of a young man's rise to power in Paris via his manipulation of the city's most influential and wealthy women. Belle Amie is rated R. The fourth title this week is Peace, Love, and Misunderstanding, a comedic drama starring Jane Fonda, Catherine Keener, and Elizabeth Olsen. An uptight New York City lawyer takes her 2 teenagers to her hippie mother's farmhouse upstate for a family vacation. Peace, Love, and Misunderstanding is rated R. And the last limited release this week is Dark Horse, a drama starring Jordan Gelber, Selma Blair, and Christopher Walken. Romance blooms between 2 30-somethings in Arrested Development, an avid toy collector, and a woman who is the dark horse of her family. Dark Horse is not rated. Next, we'll take a look at the home entertainment releases for the week of June 5th, and we'll begin with the new releases on DVD and Blu-ray. The first title this week is John Carter, action-adventure film starring Taylor Kitsch, Lynn Collins, and Willem Dafoe. Transplanted to Mars, a Civil War vet discovers a lush planet inhabited by 12-foot-tall barbarians. Finding himself a prisoner of these creatures, he escapes, only to encounter a princess who is in desperate need of a savior. John Carter is rated PG-13. The next title this week is Act of Valor, an action film starring Alex Vedov, Rosalind Sanchez, and Nestor Serrano. An elite team of Navy SEALs embark on a covert mission to recover a kidnapped CIA agent. Act of Valor is rated R. The next title this week is Safe House, an action mystery film starring Denzel Washington, Ryan Reynolds, and Robert Patrick. A young CIA agent is tasked with looking after a fugitive in a safe house, but when the safe house is attacked, he finds himself on the run with his charge. Safe House is rated R. And the last new release this week is Journey to the Mysterious Island, an action comedy film starring Josh Hutcherson, Dwayne Johnson, and Michael Caine. Sean Anderson partners with his mom's husband on a mission to find his grandfather, who is thought to be missing on a mythical island. Journey to the Mysterious Island is rated PG. Next up, we'll take a look at the TV shows coming to DVD and Blu-ray this week, and we begin with Breaking Bad, the complete 4th season, starring Bryan Cranston and Aaron Paul. The phenomenon continues as Breaking Bad hits a stunning new height with its most suspenseful season yet. In his multiple Emmy Award-winning role, Bryan Cranston stars as Walter White, a one-time mild-mannered chemistry teacher whose transformation into a deadly criminal kicks into overdrive in the explosive 4th season. As his young accomplice Jesse turns increasingly distant and hostile, Walt must deal with his estranged wife, his relentless DEA agent brother-in-law, and the ruthless kingpin manipulating the entire operation, culminating in a bombshell season finale that will leave you speechless. The next title this week is Burn Notice, the complete 5th season, starring Jeffrey Donovan, Bruce Campbell, and Gabrielle Anwar. A new day breaks for Michael Weston when he's reinstated by the CIA, but his good fortune is impossibly short-lived. Framed for murder and blackmailed by a diabolical foe, Michael and his team must do whatever it takes to clear his name and catch a killer. As the danger builds, Michael finally comes face to face with the man who burned him, leading to an explosive finale, after which nothing will ever be the same. Featuring an exclusive extended episode, deleted scenes, and so much more, Burn Notice Season 5 will reveal more shocking secrets than ever before. Next up, we have White Collar Season 3, starring Matt Bomer and Tim DeKay. Matt Bomer is back for another thrilling season of high-class capers and criminal intrigue on TV's slickest, sexiest show, White Collar. Bomer returns as a suave con man turned FBI consultant Neil Caffrey, racing to stay one step ahead of the feds even as he helps his partner, Agent Peter Burke, bring down some of the world's most clever criminals. The stakes are at an all-time high as Neil struggles to come to terms with his own checkered past, but will his greatest con cost him everything? Featuring DVD exclusive extras, the White Hot Season 3 of White Collar is a whole new bag of tricks. Next we have In Plain Sight Season 4, starring Mary McCormick, Frederick Weller, and Paul Ben Victor. Mary McCormick stars as a tough, smart, and sexy U.S. Marshal Mary Shannon, who works for the Witness Protection Program. Putting her life on the line as she relocates and protects both innocent people and ruthless criminals, Mary struggles to find a balance between work and her personal life. Riveting and refreshingly unique, In Plain Sight also stars Frederick Weller, Paul Ben Victor, and Nicole Hiltz, and features phenomenal guest stars such as Bradley Whitford, Joshua Molina, and Leslie Ann Warren. Experience the excitement in this 3-disc set containing all 13 episodes of the critically acclaimed series' 4th season. Hiding in plain sight was never so much fun. Next, we'll take a look at Pretty Little Liars, the complete 2nd season, starring Holly Marie Combs, Lucy Hale, Chad Lowe, and Ashley Benson. Based on the best-selling book series, Pretty Little Liars returns for another suspenseful season. In Season 1, as 4 16-year-old girls, Aria, Hannah, Spencer, and Emily, dealt with the aftermath of their best friend Allison's mysterious death, they believed their secrets were safe forever. Yet they began to receive threatening messages from someone named A, who seemed to know their most private details, threatening everything they held dear in their picturesque suburban community. The drama continues as Season 2 begins moments after the explosive Season 1 finale. The girls are the talk of the town, and not in a good way. Whoever said that change is good has never visited Rosewood, Pennsylvania, or come across 4 Pretty Little Liars. Next we have Falling Skies, the complete 1st season, starring Noah Wyle and Moon Bloodgood. Falling Skies opens in the aftermath of an alien attack that has left most of the world completely incapacitated. The few remaining survivors have banded together. Each day is a test of survival as citizen soldiers work to protect the people while engaging in a campaign against the occupying alien force, whose purpose remains a mystery. Next up, we have Workaholics Seasons 1 and 2, starring Gillian Bell and Blake Anderson. Workaholics is Comedy Central's hit series that follows three friends fresh out of college who live and work together as telemarketers. The crew spends their days scheming together to avoid doing any real work, and their nights looking for a good time. Join Anders, Blake, and Adam as the first two seasons unfold, bringing all 20 historical episodes into one fully torqued experience. We wrap up TV on DVD this week with Doc Martin Season 5, starring Martin Clunes and Carolyn Katz. Fatherhood hasn't softened the dour Dr. Martin Ellingham. He's about to take a new position in London when events conspire to keep him in Portland. His infant son with Elisa needs a name, his replacement doesn't seem up to the job, and he receives devastating news. Like it or not, he's stuck in the scenic Cornish village with its quirky inhabitants, most of whom have grudgingly grown fond of the grumpy doctor. Although Martin has largely mastered his fear of blood, he still has no clue how to manage his life. How can he cope with sleepless nights, an aunt with issues, a flaky new receptionist, Louisa's hippie mother, and the usual village dramas? And finally, we'll round out the home entertainment section with Blu-rays from the past. The first one this week is Yellow Submarine, an animated adventure film from 1968 starring the Beatles, Paul Angelis, and John Clive. The Beatles agree to accompany Captain Fred in his yellow submarine and go to Pepperland to free it from the music-hating Blue Meanies. Yellow Submarine is rated G. Next on our list is The Sting, a comedic crime drama from 1973 starring Paul Newman, Robert Redford, and Robert Shaw. In 1930s Chicago, a young con man seeking revenge for his murdered partner teams up with the master of the big con to win a fortune from a criminal banker. The Sting is rated PG. Next up, we have The Color of Money, a drama from 1986 starring Paul Newman, Tom Cruise, and Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio. Fast Eddie Felson teaches a cocky but immensely talented protege the ropes of pool hustling, which in turn inspires him to make an unlikely comeback. The Color of Money is rated R. Next we have Hondo, an action drama from 1953 starring John Wayne, Geraldine Page, and Ward Bond. Army dispatch writer Hondo Lane discovers a woman and her son living in the midst of warring Apaches, and he becomes their protector. Hondo is rated approved. And last on our Blu-rays from the past this week, we have Smokey and the Bandit, a crime comedy from 1977 starring Burt Reynolds, Sally Field, and Jerry Reed. The bandit is hired to run a tractor-trailer full of beer over county lines in a hot pursuit by a pesky sheriff. Smokey and the Bandit is rated PG. The Weekly Podioplex will continue after this short podcast promotional.
Hi, I'm Keith R.A. DeCandido, international best-selling and award-winning author of over 40 novels, as well as comic books, short stories, novellas, and more. I'm also an editor, currently hiring out through Creditorial, a musician, currently percussionist for the Boogie Nights, and a whole lot more. Hear me talk about my writing and my life, and also do readings from my work on my twice-monthly podcast, Dead Kitchen Radio, part of the Chronic Rift Network. For more information, go to chronicrift.com or to deadkitchenradio.mevio.com.
Welcome back. Next up, we'll take a look at the titles coming to Netflix streaming for the week of June 3rd to June 9th. June 3rd and June 4th are both quiet days, but June 5th kicks off with Mrs. Palfrey at the Claremont, a comedic drama from 2005 starring Joan Plowright, Rupert Friend, and Zoe Tapper. All but abandoned by her family in a London retirement hotel, an elderly woman strikes up a curious friendship with a young writer. Mrs. Palfrey at the Claremont is not rated. Next on June 5th, we have One Perfect Day, a drama starring Dan Spielman, Leanna Walsman, and Nathan Phillips. Tommy Matisse, a gifted musician, undertakes an odyssey of self-discovery and tragedy in Melbourne's dance music scene. One Perfect Day is not rated. And last on June 5th, we have Declaration of War, a drama from 2011 starring Valerie Donzelli, Jeremy Eckheim, and Cesar Desai. When their young son is diagnosed with a brain tumor, young parents Romeo and Juliet unite in the fight for his survival. Declaration of War is not rated. June 6th has one title, that's The Rum Diary, a comedic drama from 2011 starring Johnny Depp, Giovanni Ribisi, and Aaron Eckhart. American journalist Paul Kemp takes on a freelance job in Puerto Rico for a local newspaper during the 1950s and struggles to find a balance between island culture and the expatriates who live there. The Rum Diary is rated R. June 7th has 4 titles for you. The first is Smash His Camera, a documentary from 2010 starring Floyd Abrams, Gilbert M. Bronco Billy Anderson, and Joseph Basile. Smash His Camera is a film centering on the life and work of Ron Galella that examines the nature and effect of paparazzi. Smash His Camera is rated PG-13. The next title is Tim and Eric's $1 Billion Movie, a comedy from 2012 starring Tim Heidecker, Eric Warheim, and Robert Loggia. 2 guys get $1 billion to make a movie, only to watch their dream run off course. In order to make their money back, they attempt to revitalize a failing shopping mall. Tim and Eric's $1 Billion Movie is rated R. Next on the list is Playback, a horror thriller from 2012 starring Christian Slater, Amber Childers, and Toby Hemingway. A cop investigates the case of a missing local teen, though he discovers a dark secret that has been unleashed in his town, and an evil spirit that will stop at nothing to find its heir. Playback is rated R. And the last title for June 7th is Gung Ho, a historical drama from 1943 starring Randolph Scott, Alan Curtis, and Noah Beery Jr. This is the true story of Carlson's Raiders and their World War II attack on Macon Island. Gung Ho is not rated. June 8th brings 15 new releases to the stream. I'm going to focus on 5 of them that came before 1950. The other ones will be in the show notes. The first is Our Town, a drama from 1940 starring William Holden, Martha Scott, and Faye Bainter. Change comes slowly to a small New Hampshire town in the early 20th century. People grow up, get married, live, and die. Milk and the newspaper get delivered every morning, and nobody locks their front doors. Our Town is rated approved. The next title is In Old California, a western from 1942 starring John Wayne, Benny Barnes, and Albert Decker. Boston pharmacist Tom Craig comes to Sacramento, where he runs afoul of a local political boss, Britt Dawson, who exacts protection payment from the citizenry. Dawson frames Craig with a poison medicine, but Craig redeems himself during a gold rush epidemic. In Old California is rated approved. The next title is Svengali, a horror drama from 1931 starring John Barrymore, Marion Marsh, and Donald Crisp. Through hypnotism and telepathic mind control, a sinister music maestro controls the singing voice, but not the heart of the woman he loves. Svengali is rated approved. The fourth title for June 8th is The Iron Mask, a historical drama from 1929 starring Douglas Fairbanks, Belle Bennett, and Marguerite Delameau. King Louis XIII of France is thrilled to have born to him a son, an heir to the throne. But when the Queen delivers a twin, Cardinal Richelieu sees the second son as a potential for revolution, and has him sent off to Spain to be raised in secret to ensure a peaceful future for France. The Iron Mask is not rated. And the last classic title for June 8th is The Front Page, a comedy from 1931 starring Adolphe Menjou, Pat O'Brien, and Mary Bryan. Hildy Johnson, newspaper reporter, is engaged to Peggy Grant and planning to move to New York for a higher-paying advertising job. When fugitive Earl Williams escapes from the inept local sheriff, Hildy seizes the opportunity by using his $260 honeymoon money to pay off an insider and get the scoop on the escape. However, Walter Burns, the Post's editor, is slow to repay Hildy back, hoping that he will stay on the story. The Front Page is not rated. June 9th rounds out the week with 2 new titles to the stream. The first is Thor, an action film from 2011 starring Chris Hemsworth, Anthony Hopkins, and Natalie Portman. The powerful but arrogant warrior Thor is cast out of the fantastic realm of Asgard and sent to live amongst humans on Earth, where he soon becomes one of their finest defenders. Thor is rated PG-13. And the last title this week is The Conquest, a biography from 2011 starring Dennis Podalides, Florence Purnell, and Bernard Lecoq. The Conquest is a look at French President Nicolas Sarkozy's rise to power. The Conquest is not rated. And now I'll round out this week's episode with one item for you in the Quick Flicks. In the unlikely event that you are a Marvel movie fan and haven't purchased the films leading up to the Avengers, or if you just want to upgrade your collection, this one's for you. Marvel is claiming that, quote, Phase 1 is complete, end quote, in the cinematic universe, and as a result, they are releasing a 6-movie, 10-disc collection called the Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 1, Avengers Assembled. This set will include the Avengers, Captain America, and Thor on normal and 3D Blu-rays, and Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, and Iron Man 2 on normal Blu-rays. It'll also contain a disc of bonus materials and some exclusive memorabilia in a package that looks like the Tesseract case from the Avengers. The release date isn't yet scheduled, but the set is available for pre-order for a suggested price in the $150 range. If you want to discuss anything you heard on this week's edition, please take a moment to get in touch. You can surf on over to chronicriff.com and leave a note in the forums. You can leave a voicemail at 888-866-9010 or write to John at chronicriff.com. You can follow us on Tumblr, tweet us on Twitter, check in the network on GetGlue, watch the classics on Funny or Die, give us a thumbs up on Stitcher Radio, and leave us a review on iTunes. You can also find the Weekly Podioplex and the Chronic Rift on Facebook and Google+. If you decide to pick up any of this week's new releases, why not do it through our Amazon store? You get the newest entertainment at Amazon's low prices and high-quality service, and each purchase you make through the store supports the Chronic Rift. Look for the link in our show notes. The Weekly Podioplex is a Lucky Shot production and is produced by John S. Drew. This is Michael Falkner. Thanks for listening. I'll see you at the theater.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, this is not first class.
Circus, Afro circus, Afro circus, Afro polka dot, Afro circus,
I like to move it, move it. 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 I like to move it.
Circus, Afro circus, Afro circus, Afro.
Kowalski, status report.
Well, the good news is, this song is almost over.
Well, that's music to my ears.